All right, so I'm back. We got a potential reversal here, so wanted to step in right here. This is a 500 tick chart. Let me draw a little box right here. We went up and had this quick little consolidation, and sellers sent it back down, so we're going back up to test into it. If they reject it here, then I think we're going to put in another leg lower. So let's see what they do. Okay, signs of rejection at the top of it. That'd be pretty crazy if it rejected right from the top of it. Already did, but if it ended up selling back into new lows off this, though. Which is what I'm expecting it to do. Okay, those bars are printing pretty quickly right now. Okay, we want to see it reject right here. Yeah, so it's pretty, like I was mentioning earlier, one of the rejection areas would be like POC. It's up near POC now, so. Okay, it might be a look above and fell. That's a quick turnaround on a tick chart. I want to see these lows get taken out here. I'll go ahead and draw that in. Okay, we're starting to take out those lows. See if it can hold below here. All right, I think we're gonna put in new lows. So I've talked about this lots of times, but when we go above like this and it comes back down, you know, I view that as the same as this one. We're still rejecting. Sellers are still defending. They just defended in a slightly different area. You know, we never know if it's going to do a look above and fill or it's going to reject a little earlier, like near the bottom of this. Sometimes it'll go down and then reject down there. So I kind of view them similar, you know. I don't read too much into it because either can happen, but my preference though is to look above and fill where we run the highs and flush out, you know, some of these shorts here before taking it lower. That's my preference, but the market doesn't always give it. But I'm already in shorts. I don't really have to worry about it. But if I was like looking for an entry, I'd be a little more keen on it here. And we flip that level too, so there's kind of like multiple things going on with the auction here. We're got a third failure, which ran the highs, slammed it back down instantly, flipped these lows here. In particular, the pivot low that led to the flush of the high. And they're defending it right at the pivot, as we see here. It's still, it still looks good. I'd really want to see it hold below. When there's crazy volatility, though, it can easily just pop back up into here and then slam back down. So it's like a look above and fell again above this pivot. I'd prefer if it just kept selling, though, since, the way it played out. But yeah, it's definitely showing signs that it's going to do what I was talking about in the video earlier. First part of the video. Showing signs that it wants to flush this auction and test lower prices down here. I think there's a high probability that it's going to do it. It's just taken forever. We're, past the initial balance now. It's not like way too far into the session, but I'd like to see it happen before London close, preferably. A bid pull here soon would be really nice. They could just start flushing this thing. And we can see some buyers giving up, but let's see here. Yeah, I have it on auto snap, so I'm just going to mark that low there. All right, let's see here. We got some buyers giving up. Got sellers stepping in as well on the move, but let's see if it keeps flushing. Like how it wasn't able to test VWAP, so even if it did, excuse me, even if it did, I'd expect it to flush back down. As long as it rejected, of course. Okay, so it's doing everything up. God, I can't talk. It's doing everything I expected, so it's moving pretty good. This would be the spot on the micro level that we want to see a rejection right in this area. Come on, send it to a new low. Oops. I want to see it take out this low here. Yeah. Another little thing is this is just me kind of thinking about what the big players might be thinking. But another thing is after this massive move yesterday, even if you are bullish and you think things are going to go back up, after such an extended move, you know, one of the biggest moves up ever, you know, you would think you would want to, you know, do a bid pool and, you know, load up lower. So when I'm looking at the action, I also try to think about, you know, what large players might be thinking. It's like they might be bullish, but after a big move like that, a lot of them are going to be kind of timid to be buying that high up after a mega short squeeze move. So often they will eventually start pulling bids. They'll let everyone who is trying to buy it up here, they'll just let them get flushed out and they'll load up lower, which could be down here or it could be way lower. It could be down in this area, or maybe even value area low. You know, we never know. Yeah, so, you know, the things they might be thinking of doing are kind of lining up with the order flow and price actions. So if I was a big player, you know, I'd be pulling my bits, and it looks like we're kind of seeing some of that. It just makes sense, you know. If this same action was happening after the market flushed and we found a bid, I wouldn't be, yeah, it might be viewed a little differently. So if it found a solid bid after the market flushed out longs or something like that. That's why the context is really important. So just like back here, they tested it, a little bit of a rejection, then they went above it and fell back down below. I have it on the snap, so let me see if I can get this back on here. Prefer that they would stay below this swing high and just sell it to a new low here. It's always our preference in a downtrend. It's definitely in a downtrend on lower time frames, so we were putting in these higher low, higher high. Barely took out that low. This low still holding. We get this low to this high. Now we're taking out all these lows, so it's pretty much in a downtrend here, and it's flipped this pivot. It's back testing into it. That held for us. That was a pretty nice rejection at the wick above, closing on the lows. Candles aren't as important on the fast moving tick charts, but sometimes they can give us a little bit of something. I don't read into it too heavily, but this is a nice little sequence for it to sell off. Hopefully it does, we'll see. Because we want those lower highs to be intact. And take this low out. Yeah, so lower high, lower low, lower high. Got a lower high and then a lower low. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then we're going for another lower low. And we also want to take out this 5316 area from this pivot down here. That might be RTH low. I think it is. Yeah, that's RTH low. So we want to take that out. So that's the IB low and the 30-minute opening range low too, of course. Okay, so we got another lower low. That's nice. It's been very slow. It's almost like the big guys are roping in the bulls, you know, like, oh, we're going to defend this, and, you know, we're going to take it back up a huge move again or something. Kind of like a bull trap. And then they'll just flush this low, flush out a lot of this positioning, and then maybe they'll defend down here, or maybe they'll just keep taking it lower, you know, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. But like I've been saying the whole time, I expect them to flush this out. That's why I'm still holding shorts, so. Okay, things are looking pretty good. Let me see. So it was kind of like a V-shaped reversal a little bit. Okay, so we're finally about to take out the low. And I'd really like to see it flush. I think this is low of day, not just RTH low. Because this is a full RTH profile. The reason it shows as 4.9 is because if you want to get this volume like this on Sierra, we finally took it out. Holding below eventually would be nice. But yeah, if you want to do a, you know, daily session bars with volume profiles, you have to start it on the prior day at Globex Open. Or if you do, like I did here, it's going to show the bar as 4.9 because that's where the bar opened at. So it's showing 4.9, but it's, you know, we're in 4.10 now, April 10th. So I'm not really worried about these little bounces. This happens a lot when they flush it. Sometimes it'll go back up and then they take it down. Sometimes they'll flush out shorts that are trying to chase the breakout. So they're entering here. They're like, nope, there we go. And then they'll take it. Boom, and then up and down. Plus profit taking, from shorts down here who shorted it way back here and up here. You can get a reversal though. I'm not really buying it though. I think they're going to flush it more. I think there's a really high probability that they flush this. I'm very confident on this. I would have exited already if I wasn't, so. It's just taking an eternity, that's all. It's taking forever. It'd be nice if they nuked it right here pretty soon. It's just kind of chopping around a little. All right, let's see. It's kind of a solid bull trap, near low of day. Sometimes they'll flush the shorts though before they take it. So they're not going to give it away easy. It's a bit of an area here to look at. It was flipped from one side to the other. Maybe they test into that. Oops. Failure to test into that would be a little bit more bearish, so that'd be even better. When we get the failure to do the full test up into it. Yeah, and the bearish imbalance has just been getting stronger and stronger. So, yeah, it's like in the 50s now. I think it was around 40 this morning. Okay, so we tested into that. Let's see what they do. We prefer that it rejects here, but they could go above it. You never know. Okay. I don't want to have to turn this into a 3-part video. It's basically the slowest move ever lately. Maybe I'll extend this back over. Probably going to move it a little since they since the rejections are in that area now. I tested near it and bounced, so move that up just slightly to match these pivots. Really nice when they touch on both sides like that, and here as well. We could lose this again, that would be really pretty nice. Yeah, let's see what they do here. Here we got signs of a rejection. Let's see if it keeps going or not. It's like watching paint dry. Oh my goodness. It's already been a half hour, so I'll let it run a little more. I might have to do a part 3. Potential that we, did get a decent reversal here. But I'm still going to have to assume they sell it back down and flush this. It's one of my main signals, so I got to go with it. I want to see them take this out because they're showing intent to at least test it. We'll see what happens here. I'm just worried that if I stop the video and do a part 3, it's just going to nuke right when I stop it. Of course, it never does. But let's see if they can take this out. We're kind of in a spot where buyers could give up in a major way. That's why I don't want to stop it too. We keep seeing these signs that sellers are defending. They keep defending, so it's another lower high. We don't want to see it keep testing into the same area over and over, but we want to really see it reject after this one that we just had, preferably. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. We can hold below this. This is why I didn't want to stop it. This looks really nice. This is the sign of buyers giving up here. Let's see if they can take this out, though. That's the brick wall right now. If it, has a really shallow bounce and sells, that's even stronger. Shallow bounces into more selling are one of the best signs of a bearish imbalance. Tick charts are a good way to see that. So it's not so much about every little candle to me. It's more about kind of visualizing the auction and seeing how strong the imbalance is or is not in certain areas. Because it started, failed to put in that a new high here. off this low, put in a new low, but it was still kind of grinding, and then it flushed pretty quick through there, and we have this really shallow bounce. They can sell it from this area, that would be nice. We could bounce back up into here, test this. We'll just have to wait and see what they do. This would be nice though, reject from this 20 area. So our new low is near like 1175 or something. All right, so we put in a new low off this really shallow bounce. This is a little micro auction here. Let me draw that up right there. This is a good spot to see buyers pull bids and give up here. It's the flush that I've been waiting all morning for. I want to see it keep going. It's still a really bearish auction. I mean, look at this. The bearish imbalance keeps going up. It's well into the 50s. For this prior day auction, there's almost no imbalance. That's just the close. It's not as important, and after the session's done, it's more I like to use it more so during the session. But what this indicates is this huge move up ended up ironing out the imbalances of the session. So it ended up closing, pretty much balanced. It wasn't like a balanced profile, but the way the volume was distributed throughout. It was more like two auctions, one above, one below, with a huge LBN in the middle. And that could be part of the reason it's been struggling so much into the lows is we have these prior session highs where you can get some shorts covering to get out right there. And then you can also get new longs trying to trade it. And we're also trading into a low volume node area, so it really tapered down here. We're heavily below this, but we're still in a pretty low volume area. But it's showing intent to go lower here, to auction lower. It's just taken forever, that's all. Got another micro auction. So that's a nice thing with tick charts is these are based on the number of trades that are going through. So it's very similar to volume bars. So it's almost like a volume profile on the candlesticks when you see them, back and forth like this, chopping around. It means that there's just basically like a volume node in that area. It's kind of the same thing. Like this is a visible range profile, and it can help us visualize it. See how we have this auction right here? It's a different way to visualize what the tick chart is showing us here. You can see this a bit too. See like low volume above, low volume node below, and then it's got the HVN or high volume node in this area. Tick chart allows you to see it in a granular manner. That's why I'm saying it's not so much about like candlesticks. It's more like the pattern and the auctioning behavior. Where they do start to matter a little more is when we have a really quick rejection like this here. That ended up being a high that held so far. It went up very quick and it got slammed back down really quick. It's not multiple candles side by side right there, so that's a sign that we're rejecting that area when it does that. This was one here too. Very quick rejection of that area, runs away from it. So can't see that on a higher time frame chart. There could have been a lot of auctioning up above that. You wouldn't really know. So it's done everything that I have expected, but it hasn't done it to the extent that I expected. I expected a little bit more. You know, these prior highs are kind of throwing a monkey wrench into the situation a little bit. It's kind of annoying, but when it compresses into it and then puts in a low, it's showing intent to crack it though, and it's cracking it as we speak. It's starting to get into it, so. Okay, that looks good. Because if it consolidated right into it, popped back up, and held above that auction, that would tell us that wouldn't be what we want to see. We want to see it, pressing into it, and, making traction into it, not moving away from it. So everything I've been seeing is showing signs of sellers, especially since that rejection. Yeah, that's about a 50 points, almost 50 point move down. So that's kind of like the power of context. This is telling me that it wants to auction lower. This is telling me it's probably going to struggle a bit like it has, but I'm still expecting it to at least put in some more downside. But this tells us to be careful though, especially since it's 2 sessions. Be a lot of inventory trying to get out in that area, so. We have already had 2 bounces though. It wasn't like all the way down into the prior low or prior high, but it's pretty close. They'll often step in a little bit before it, but we get this big short covering move and then another. So when it just keeps on testing into it and it's doing it off of lower highs, and then on the micro level when we zoom in, it's compressing into it. So it's telling us that it's kind of breaking down that wall a bit. It's breaking into it. Let's see. They were failing to put in new lows there, so let me just drag that auction over. We want to see them sell that back down because, you know, this anything is up for a potential reversal. It could be. I don't think it would be, but it could be. You never know. All right, this looks pretty good. This could potentially trigger a liquidation if they can get it back down again. So it filled out almost half of that box so far that I drew earlier. Yeah, it's probably like almost 50 points. The whole box was about 100, so I'd like to see more, but you never know. Market doesn't always give you what you want. Yeah, still a bearish auction distribution though. Just always building volume into the lows, and our bounces have been relatively shallow ever since that bounce, so let's see if they can flush it again. I draw it for these lows here. Keeps bouncing every time in this area. Okay, they might be taking it here. If these highs were lower or they weren't there, I think it would have played out. Probably would have played out already. Flushed 100 plus. That's the power of positioning. But, you know, they've been cracking away at that wall there, so Video's getting really long, so I'm hoping it flushes soon. Yeah, we're already at the London close. It's 1 minute past. We have lower highs and lower lows after the break. That's a nice thing to see. So 5281. So it's sold off almost 100 points so far since I started the video, so that's not too bad. Yet another rejection. Like the way it's pushing right there. Okay, we're triggering a little bit of a liquidation there when those bars start printing quickly. Okay. I think that's 100 points. 100 plus since I started the video from the high right there. So that was like 70, or maybe it's slightly less than 100. I think bulls are going to get the memo here if they put in another lower low. We're getting, well below that now. That high. We even tested below the Monday high as well. It's a pretty decent bounce. potential for another lower high. It's crazy. Barely took that high out. You can see sellers are stuffing it right there and saying, nope, we're not going higher. Barely took it, and then we're a new low, so it's back. It's back on there. This didn't put in a new low, so we're still looking at this one here at 91.25. Let me just draw that over here. It's not that it can't go above it. It's just, it's like a signal to tell us, be on the lookout for a potential reversal here if it can get above it. And especially if it can get above it and put in a decent leg above it, because this is not an invalidation, in my opinion. It barely went above it. We're immediately seeing signs that sellers are defending it, and then they take it lower. So you want to see something like that, or you want to see something like the rejection back here where it just quickly goes up and right back down. That's what you want to see preferably there. This video is almost an hour, so I don't want to run it too long, too much longer. I think I already proved my point about, how this auction was very likely to play out to the downside. We can see it filled most of it. It's still a bearish auction, so. Okay, I like that rejection. Put it down and slam it down. Okay. Instead of getting the quick flush today, it's one of those grinding ones where put in the low, we kind of bounce a little, chop around, put in another low, build volume lower. It's just kind of stair stepping its way through it. Which is generally how upside moves work. It's kind of like today and yesterday are the reverse. It's like we had an elevator up yesterday and a staircase down, very slow stepping down. It could lead into a short squeeze reversal. We never know. It's not what I was counting on, but it can happen. Okay, so the video's over now. I'm going to let it run just a little bit more. Hope I'm adding some value in here and not just rambling. soon as I leave, it'll probably nuke through the floor, so that's why I'm reluctant to do so. Let's see if they can get another low here. Yeah, but these videos kind of show how I'm using the profiles and the price action together, you know? I don't just look at the profiles and, view that as like it's set in stone. I'm kind of like weighing these things together. Price action is confirming or denying what I'm seeing there. Today it's been confirming it, you know. The sellers keep stepping in, they're selling it back down. So everything's aligned. So when everything's aligned like that, I can only take shorts. There's some other stuff I'll look at as well, like multi-time frame momentum and things, but these are, I would be able to even trade just this actually if I wanted to. These are kind of like the core order flow things I look at. The volume profiles and tick charts. And I'll look at the DOM sometimes as well. I haven't been looking at the DOM as much lately because of the volatility. I'm not a fan of the DOM during really high volatility, so it's not nearly as bad today as it was yesterday and the prior days, but it's been having its moments where it looks like an NQ DOM. Okay, we get yet another lower low, and it's every time it gives us that sign, it gets a bounce. It was given the sign that it's going to flush, and it still might. I mean, sometimes it'll go up and then it comes right back. Yeah, so it's sold all the way down from POC area. So that's another little nuance I could touch on. If it rejects from the POC, that's even better for us than if it rejects from value area high of day, or like this LBN area. It just tells it's even more bearish. They can't even get back above that. To test, like VWAP was up in this area too, they couldn't test it. But yeah, we filled in most of that box already since the first video when I drew that. I think that kind of proves the point of what I was trying to show, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't want to wrap it up while it's selling. Let me wait on this leg here. Could be the one, you never know. Don't want it to be the one when I'm stopping the video. But yeah, it filled in most of that. And it put in a nice size move below the lows. below that auction that was used to be way up here. So, and then as it fills in more of that, it's actually starting to decrease. The bearish imbalance isn't as strong as it was earlier. It's in the 30s now instead of the 50s. So. And drag it over. It's also during lunchtime for large players. A lot of large players are at lunch right now, and it starts getting really choppy after the London close till about 1 or 2 o'clock, depends on the day, but so that's kind of another factor. Anywhere between about 11 to 11:30 is when it typically starts. It's just kind of chopping around, but slowly going lower. If it bounces, I'll probably call it. And then I'll just make another video later if it ends up filling out or moving lower. If it either fills it out or keeps going lower, I'll make like another update. It's taken forever. It just has the look that it's so close to liquidating. Well, it might actually fill it while I'm on here. It's so close. I'm going to wait a little more. Yeah, lower highs over and over and over again. That's not something I like to fade. Okay. Might have been a bit of an iceberg right there. It's even showing up over here a little. This got this little high volume node right there. Okay, so yeah, we almost filled that all the way, so it's starting to bounce a little. I'm going to go ahead and call it on that. Like I said, I'll do an update if it sells back down, if it puts in a good move lower.